Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Global Table. And here at the Global Table, we make international relations more relatable to everyone and engaging. So today's topic is one that strikes debate in our modern society, which is on feminism. But before I dive into that, I would like to introduce the amazing voices on our table today. So here is Temidayo Olajide. This is Akiomi Faith. This is Oyeni Fiko Olami. And this is Dose Shakimite. And you all know my name is Olumide Goodness Ekaite. So, on today's topic, which is feminism, we know that feminism did not begin as a modern term. It has an historical root, right? And before now, during the Senecal Falls in 1848, we saw that feminism was diving at the purpose for equality. Women didn't have the equal right to vote, they didn't have properties, they didn't have necessary things that they needed. But before then, women tried to push that agenda so that we can have this right that we all benefit in today's time and in today's age. So we could even see that in the time of the Aba Women's Riot, when Funmilayo Ransome Kuti was trying to fight for women's rights for taxation, because then there was colonial taxation, women they were really taxed, highly taxed in marketplaces. So we could see that those rights were playing out for women to get equal rights as well. But now in our modern times, we could see that people are now fighting for what we feel that it's not more the agenda. We're not thinking feminism is playing what it ought to play, but it depends on who you ask. Many might tell you that feminism is extreme. Oh, they are advocating for people hating men more and more. While some other people tell you that yes, they're actually fighting for today's agenda, and feminism actually represents what today is. So the question I have for my girls on the table today is: do you think that the movement for feminism has changed its course, or is it represent the main purpose?
All right. Well, as you can clearly see, was inside supporting feminism. And I would say that over the years, feminism has evolved. Like any other movement, like any other notion, it has evolved per the society that it plays in. And it is the same with our society right now. Feminism obviously is not about hating men. Let's not get it wrong. But actually just fighting for the rights of women, which mainly turns towards equality in most cases because of the kind of society that we live in. But all of it that we're living in a patriarchal society, whether some of us would like to admit it or not. So I'll just say it has evolved to the needs of our society right now.
In addition to what Peter said, I get very confused when people are like, oh, feminism is no longer representing equality. I think what has just happened is the movement has gotten bigger than what it used to be. And then people now realize that, oh, it seems that it will continue progressing in this
Yes.
movement. Women will have rights, so they have to tell you that it is what it is not. But then, from when Naira and Pretty to Akeomi Faith, like feminism is still feminism. There's no discussion there, but it's no longer like, are we representing women? Are we fighting for women's rights? Simple.
Okay, so like our hosts said before, feminism has evolved, and I believe feminism has gone past its first meaning, right? The first feminists fought for equality, they fought for the rights of women. But I believe that movement now has transitioned to something of demonizing the patriarchal system, right? Those feminists had families. They believe that okay, a woman also should have, though she has rights, she also should have a family. She also should cater for the family. She also should have children and everything. But now these days we see movements and the new feminists now saying stuff like I don't need a man, um, I'm going to live my life the way I'm going to live it. I want to pursue career and everything. And they tend to demonize the women that now want to actually have a family. They want to cater for their children. They want to stay at home, right? But why do they do that? That's a question to ask.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, everybody, for actually talking. But then I still stand on my ground that I don't think feminism is what we actually just need. We need more than feminism. We are talking about, yes, the changes in our society, and you are very correct. There's been a lot of things that have happened over time, and there are new trends, new things happening. But I don't think it's just feminism that we need. We need changes in our institutions, we need changes in government, we need changes even in our society, and majorly in our families. So it's not just about, oh, gender, because even when you're talking about equality, I don't think everybody has or should have equality, because if you're not calm down, let me finish. If you're not doing what you're expecting, like example, I have a job, and let's say you're a guy and you also have a job too, and your own how do I explain this now? You're saying equality on the terms of everybody should have equal, not rights, right? Equal opportunities, right? But if you're not giving up to what that opportunity is demanding, then I don't think you should have that. You should require that thing. For example, I'll give you an example that I was talking to somebody last week, and the person gave me a very different light to feminism. He said that we should look at female football and male football, for example. And I was trying to say that, oh no, you can't use that example. And he said no, that I should look at it. Male football now is earning a lot of, like, tons of money, millions, billions, in fact, compared to the female football. Would you now say that we should be paying the female footballers the same amount we're paying the male footballers? No, you can't say that, because even though they are playing the same thing, the outcome that they are
They don't
gaining
gain the
is
same
not the same
traction,
thing.
yes.
So you cannot say that there should be equality on that base because of, oh, men and women and the same thing there. It's something more about the outcome. Like, what are you actually giving back? Do you get? If you're giving you what you should earn, then you should be giving it. It's more like equity. What you need is what you should get, and what you work for is what you should get. Not everybody should get the same thing. What if I'm not doing my job? What if I'm not actually doing what I'm supposed to do? You did not say that just because I'm a woman I should be giving that stuff. No, I should do my work and earn it, just as the same the same way a man will do his job and earn for that same thing. That's my own point on this.
Okay, to buttress what she said, right? I feel that the feminist movement tries to push equality, right? We are not, females and males are different
They're not
species. They have different needs, and we should have different rights. Right, we should support things that equity, right, where women get the rights that they need and men get the rights that they need, not women trying to get men's rights. I don't know if you get it, because that's what we try to do. Okay, men are having this, so we too should have that. We should have what we need, right? That's what I feel, right? So yeah.
I'm going to start from. Can you clarify what men's rights are that women shouldn't have access to? That's one. And you're also talking about something about family orientation. I don't think it has anything to do with feminism.
Oh, it does. It does, my love. It does.
Because there are non-feminist women that also like, you know what? I don't think marriage. I want to do marriage. I want to do that.
Yes, because marriage is not a feminist topic.
But that's
No,
what many modern
we're
feminists are actually
talking about
pushing
modern.
towards.
We're talking about modern
I-
feminism right now.
Wait, marriage comes with certain responsibilities. Outside of even culture, you're responsible to another person, you're accountable to another person. So you making a decision as an individual, oh, can I take on the responsibilities that marriage has? Is not regarding, oh, whether I'm a feminist or I'm not a feminist. It is you as an individual. Do I have what it takes to be in a marriage? It's as simple as that. Feminism is not against marriage, but just against the culture that pulls down women and uplifts men.
So what is pulling down women in
Exactly.
marriage?
What
What is pulling down women? That she's catering for her children, that she's nurturing her children,
That people
that she
have
decides not to
gender
work.
Can you see?
Is
Yeah,
that the problem?
no, that's the
Okay,
thing. The
explain.
gender roles. You are trying to exchange the gender roles.
Very well.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying that marriage is a bad thing. Marriage is a good thing. Even from God, the person that created marriage, He created it as a good thing. But we've always learned from time that there are certain people that are not supposed to be together. And when they come together, that is when we consider marriage is bad. But they are coming together, right? That is bad. Marriage in
itself is not bad. It's not bad to want to cater for your kids. But you should also remember that that is a lifestyle choice. You choosing to have kids is a lifestyle choice. You choosing to get married is a lifestyle choice. It's not something that should be forced on you. It is your choice. Now, women that now, okay, go to the extreme and say, marriage is bad or catering for your kids is bad, you cannot live your life for your kids. Yes, that's an extreme. But we're not going to now ignore the fact that this thing started from a good place. Would you now say because of there's so many bad marriages here, or there's so many people that have gotten into marriages and it has failed, and you're not saying that marriage is a bad thing? No. Same thing with feminism. Just because of there is an extreme to it, or just because of there are people that have not represented it well, does not mean it did not start from a good place. So that's it.
But what we're focusing in about right now
is
is what
modern
happening
feminism.
right
We're not
now.
talking about what
We cannot
existed.
keep on
We
withholding
support what
what
existed.
The same for so many religions.
No, religion is
No,
a
that's a
different thing
different
from
thing.
a
It's
view.
not a different
No,
thing,
if you actually
because
think
it's also
about
based
it.
on what you believe. Take it with feminism too. Feminism is what you believe. It's anchored on values that you believe.
Okay,
Let's look at Christianity and Islam. They're the most popular religions in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But would you now say that they are not extremist Christians?
They're-
Or they're not
But are they not
there
people
are
that are standing for this normal this how many of them how many of
that
these
they are
feminists can we see
extremists,
that are actually putting in the effort and actually showing
How many
it?
feminists are putting in the effort?
Yes.
Is that what you just
Yes, so
said?
answer
The
the
thing is
question.
that every time you look at a feminist, you see that
Every
attitude.
single time a woman goes up to speak up for something that is not right or is fighting for something that is clearly injustice, that is an act of feminism. It doesn't have to be on the stage.
Oh, I don't
It
think
doesn't
so.
have to be global.
Okay, so
But even you being in school is an act of feminism.
sorry, I have something
Whether you
to
like it
no,
or
I have
not.
something to counter that, right? The fact that I support a right doesn't make you label me a feminist.
But who fought for those
no,
rights?
wait, calm down. I'm going to use an illustration. Let's say, God forbid, bad thing. Something happens to you. You get out of school, right? God forbid. No, let me not even use you. Something happens to
Lord.
someone, right?
Something.
And the person is a Christian, right? Then the person goes out of school, person becomes like very wretched, poor and everything, right? Person doesn't have anything to their name, right? Then a Muslim comes, fights for you, provides for your education, gives you a house. Does that earn you the right to call
For the
yourself a
person
Muslim?
a Christian or
No,
the
it's
person
not.
a Christian.
It's not.
You can't stand.
Because the fact that I have gained the right, that people have fought for doesn't make you call me a feminist.
I feel like we're
But we
The
are
woman right.
You are leaving the basis that it is a woman that fought for that right.
Okay.
For a fellow woman like you.
Sorry.
Not a case of Christian and
But
Islam.
I'm just using that as an illustration,
Yeah, but-
right? Okay, so people
Those
have
are much
fought.
more different
No,
than gender.
see.
You don't.
Feminism is a choice of belief,
Yeah, it
right?
is.
That people, the fact that I support women rights doesn't make you call me a feminist. Doesn't like make me have the label a feminist. I just support
What's
women's
right of
rights.
women are you not
Okay, so if I support men's rights, does that make me what they call them a misogynist?
Misogynist.
I don't think men are
Like
Yes.
No, because men okay.
have been given to them.
And it has always favored them.
I mentioned something.
But note that at the beginning of time, it was not all men that had rights. We had black men that did not have
Exactly.
rights. We had Asian men that did not have rights.
Oh,
No, think about it.
Right.
No, but it was a transition, and now women do have rights.
Same thing.
And no, wait,
Feminism is
Asian men
evolving
had to
society.
fight to have
Issue
rights
that
in
we
the society.
have. We're talking about the changes that have happened in feminism, and that's what you're saying. So you see that you're somehow contradicting what you said
No,
before.
I'm just going to explain to you that society is evolving. Feminism, as it believed to, is also evolving.
But it's evolving.
But it has
in
evolved to
ways.
counter its former.
I understand what you're saying.
Extremes.
Oh
If
Jesus!
if
You
turn
have been
blind
saying
eyes
extremes
to that,
from the
you
beginning of
always
this.
now say that something is bad.
Oh my god.
There are always going to be people doing bad things. There are always going to be people taking things to the
You
extreme.
mentioned something.
But what happens when the extremity now drives the movement?
But that's not
But
the truth. That's
it's
not
true.
the truth.
It's true. It's true. Go all over the internet. Go all over the internet. If you mention feminism, that's what comes
Even
out.
to the point where feminists themselves are fighting themselves.
No,
It's
oh
true. That's what's
Jesus.
actually happening now.
That's what you
You mentioned something that all women have rights now. Is that what you
Yes.
said?
No, that's what I said. I said women, the what they fought for. Okay, some women now have rights to vote, right?
Yeah.
Because of what they fought for. We have rights to education because not all. Because in the north there are still people that are like, and that's my thing about like being. It's more like a culture for them, right? That women are to get married at the at a certain age and everything, right? That's their situation, and they are still working on that, providing rights for them.
Okay, who are those that are working on rights? Is it not feminists that think, oh, women should have
No,
rights?
people that are driving, people driving women's rights. No, I don't agree. You don't have to label people.
That's the
You don't
issue I'm
have to
having with
label
this
people.
thing.
Okay, so okay. I have.
Is fighting for women's rights, which includes
Jesus.
equality. So you cannot say that you are fighting for a woman's rights and it does not include that. So that means that you cannot be labeled a feminist.
Like,
No.
as a non-feminist, what will you deem something that you're doing that is
Yes.
fighting for women's rights? Can you give me an example of what a non-feminist would do that would tell you that fighting for women's rights? What is fighting?
See, okay, let me
Concept
just.
of fighting for something that you don't believe in. Like, can you explain to me?
No, that is not what they are doing, right? Okay, you believe that a child should have rights. You go for it. You fight for a child's rights. What does that make you? Does that? Oh, it's just a child. I'm talking about both men and women now, like both male children and female children. If me, I see injustices in children, and I say, okay, I want to fight for children's rights. What does that make me? Does that make me a? I don't know the name, what they call them, but it's no, it's just it's the human. No, calm down. I'm using an illustration. So it's the human impulse to make sure that everybody lives comfortably. I don't have to be called something just because I support that they should live comfortable lives, just because I support that, okay, they should have this right, or they should have this right, or they should be able to do this, or they should be able to do that. You don't have to label me that for me to operate in that light.
Alright, but see, I understand where you're coming from. But I want to give you an example. Let's take a look at the Bible now. When they saw the apostles, the disciples of Jesus, behaving like Jesus, what they call them? Christians. They didn't even label themselves. It was because of other people saw what they were doing and they saw that it matched the beliefs, the things that Jesus did while he was on earth. That was why they labeled them Christians. And so, yes, I get where you're coming from that, oh, you don't just want to be given a label that might not stand with every single thing that you believe with, but you are literally still fighting in line with it. That is why you are giving that label, and it's not a bad label. And let's not do it as if no, like feminism is one bad thing like this.
Nobody said feminism is bad.
I
No,
said
that's not what I'm
modern
saying.
feminism has evolved from its initial.
That was the initial
From
question.
its
in the first
initial
place.
When people
proposition.
say that modern feminism is not the bad thing that
Yes.
you're trying to paint it in. Back in the days, the demands were way higher. And I'm glad to the women that fought for my rights, the women that didn't sit and say, oh, I love women's rights, but I don't want to be feminist. Because if there were those women, I won't be here speaking today on feminism.
We wouldn't even be on YouTube.
Back then, there was no right for women to vote, women to go to school. Like, women couldn't do anything but to be born for their husbands. Like, right, you see young girls, and it's still happening to date in the North Arab countries that are very still in that.
That's like the kingdom.
Yeah, so if I now sit back and I say, yeah, you know what, I believe in women's rights, or all the best.
No, what you are trying to what you're saying, what you are trying to portray is that feminism is now the action. That is not the action. Feminism is not the
Feminism is
action.
not the action.
Feminism is the way of belief, right? Some people can be feminists and not do anything about it. I'm saying that it's possible for a woman to fight for another woman's rights without being labeled a feminist.
But can you explain to me what is so wrong with being a feminist?
I'm talking about, that's what I said when I began speaking, right? Feminism, to be labeled a feminist now is very much different from those who first began feminism, right? Before they they supported voting rights, education rights, and
Right,
work
jobs,
rights. Like
yes.
these were things that okay paved the way for other stuff, right? And we now talk about modern feminism, right? Now the propaganda or the propaganda they keep passing on is that okay, we don't need men. I can do it all by myself. I'm independent. Okay, independent, strong woman, right? Why? Okay, because why? What will you use to explain the fact that single motherhood has increased to a very high degree?
Even
Now
divorces.
do you get? Now women have decided I'm just gonna have a kid. I don't need a man. So how do you explain that movement? How do you explain that form of
So are
feminism?
you saying single motherhood, the increase in single motherhood is as a result of
Yes,
feminism?
modern
That's
feminism.
what I'm
Yes.
saying. You're not saying it could be for the fact that men are irresponsible.
Oh Jesus.
Okay, so I just heard
Jesus.
somebody mention something. So you're saying culture is the cause of certain issues in.
No, yes, culture is the cause of certain issues, but the issue of single motherhood, most of it is from irresponsible fathers.
Oh my God,
And you're
no
not going to
baby.
put your child in a situation where they cannot have a father figure to
No,
look up
baby.
to.
Why do-
Most of the
Did you
most
do
women,
it?
no, baby. Most
So
of
why
the
would you
people,
blame another
most
person?
people, like I said before, most women these days have totally blocked out the idea of marriage. They just believe that okay, I can do this by myself. I'm going to just go to an IVF place. They will do the whole shebang, and I'll have a kid. And that's how single
it's
motherhood
because
has increased to
when-
a. If you look
when
at the
something
statistics.
has stopped serving its purpose.
Okay, so you see
and has
men
been
have stopped
abused
serving their purpose.
over time.
That's what I'm
That's what
saying.
I'm
Feminism is
saying.
demonizing men. That's what you
No,
are doing.
I'm not trying
So
to
you're saying men have lost their purpose.
They have
right?
lost their value.
Oh, I don't mean, and by the something I mean marriage.
Oh, okay.
not
But you
men.
just said
Okay,
earlier
but
that
is that marriage
was.
Yes,
men?
marriage is good, but it has been abused.
All right.
And so it has lost its
All
purpose.
right.
No, it hasn't lost its purpose, but it has lost its purpose over time, meaning that it is declining.
All right.
Again, there's something about the term single motherhood. I don't think, okay, now, let's say I get pregnant, and the person that got me pregnant is like, all the best to you, I don't want to deal with this. Will you still shame me for being the parent that stayed? Because most of the statistics shows that single mother is not like carrying a child is a lot of responsibility. I don't think
Yes.
most people are just going there.
Oh,
and
no,
like,
baby.
I'll just carry this baby and
It is.
it's
a trend.
What is the statistic?
It's a trend. Don't worry, I'm
Most
looking
of
for
the
it.
single mother should come from a place of oh, the father died, the father is not responsible, he ran away. Like there are still cases.
That's like 0.1%,
But
babe.
are you sure about that?
Yes.
They are in the hospital. Oh, they gave it. And even from our mother's age, she tells stories of how a
Yes.
woman gave birth to triplets and they're looking for a husband. Until now, it is still happening. Another point I want to make is I think this whole concept of traditional marriage or trad wives has been glamorized beyond what it actually is. Like it's easy to say you want to be a trad wife when you are seeing videos on your FYP, a woman is living on a farm, husband is going to the city.
Is that your definition for a traditional woman?
That's what
No, not a traditional woman.
Okay.
Straight trad wife.
A tried.
Trad wife.
husband is
trad
going
wife.
to the city,
Yeah.
she's giving birth to like 4 children, she's pregnant with another one. Now I want you to look at it. If that image now is set in Nigeria, let's say a very remote village in Nigeria, the woman's husband is working in Lagos. I know she has 4 kids, she doesn't have any income of her own, husband is abusive, but you don't see the would you still think the idea of being a trad wife is still beautiful? Because I think when the media sells an image, it's very easy to say, this thing is not bad now. Feminism, like I see a lot of posts and be like, oh, this is what feminism wants to take away from us.
Yes.
Feminism is not trying to take away anything. It's just trying
Are you sure
to
about that?
advocate for the equality of women. And now people are quick to say, oh, feminism back then is different from what it is now. I'm sure when people stood up that, oh, when Funara and Shampiti got the idea that, you know what, why can't I drive as a woman? People thought, oh, it's extreme. Why do women need to drive? And when
You
someone
are resisting.
yeah, when a
Yes.
woman stood up and said women should be able to go, there are women that have lost their life. If it's something that men are easy to like, you will not get it easily. And now the way feminism is involved with is to the demands of our current society, like Feda said, are we going to pretend like misogyny is not rooted in every
Yes.
system of our life? even till now in 2026, there's a lecturer that will come in and be like, oh, look at all the girls in this class. They are overriding the boys. Like
Yeah.
men should automatically
Be at the forefront of
and
the
women
class.
should be at the back. And now our eyes are more.
I don't think that's what
We're
they
not
meant by
battling
that.
women.
So what do you think they meant by that?
We're no longer battling women.
Bro, how many girls are in the class? We have like not up to 10 boys.
Uh-huh.
And that's the reality though. We are overriding them. They're just speaking it as it is. I feel like what one issue
You
I
guys
have with
take-
feminism
oh
is
my
that
God.
the way the concept to the way we understand certain things, the way we perceive certain things is what actually drives a lot of many people's perception of feminism and how they actually yes, because if you look at it, many people just look at a certain thing and take it that way. We were having a conversation one time in your room, and I remember you saying something about what and what do you call him, an influencer said about his wife, and he said that, oh, his wife is not the most beautiful woman, but he now started mentioning other things, blah 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 blah, and then you took it out and said that how dare he say that kind of thing about his wife. But to me, I felt like if he had said something like that, there must have been a reason why he had said what he said. You coming to just attack him straight up, that how dare he say that kind of thing about his wife, is your own perception to what he could have meant so many other things about that thing.
So you're
And
saying that we're taking it out of context when lecturers come to the class. Like this said, we're overriding the boys, even when there's a higher population of women. And it's not like anybody.
And let's take it back to what you even said, when you said,
oh,
if
like,
I-
I'll take this step.
If I'm given an opportunity and I'm not giving returns, then I should not be giving praise and accolade. I'm just trying to like understand
Okay.
what you said at the beginning, if you could. And it's the same thing with what's happening in classes these days. Most of the time, you see that it's the girls that are more hardworking. They pay more attention to their studies, and they're the ones getting better grades because they did work for it. And then for a lecturer to now come in and say, "Oh, you are overriding the boys," it is insulting. Whether you agree with it or not, it is insulting, and you know why?
I understand.
Because that hard work is ignored over the fact that a male should
be over the girl.
Yes. So I get your point of perception. That is where extreme comes in.
And it
But
was,
most of
it
the
was
time it's
even
not like
in
that.
this same, I think it was 2024 or 2025, that a lecturer said, oh, FGM, female genital mutilation, is okay because women are promiscuous in nature. But you still have people making statements like that. I don't think you can term feminism as an extreme movement simply because over time, even before now, men have always said, oh, I'll wait till I'm 40 before I get married. And nobody will say, what do you mean by that? Why don't you want to get married?
But you know your biological clock is ticking.
But the moment the woman says, oh, I don't want to get married right now, it becomes, oh, you're not achieving your full potential, you don't want to do what the Bible says. It's not about, I want to get my life together.
Okay, please.
And if at the end of the day, marriage comes along the line, I'll take it. If it doesn't come, it's not the
I
end
have
of my
something
life,
to say,
because
though.
I was not created for the sole purpose of getting married. There are other things that women can do. And if you see now, modern feminists, if that's what we're going to call them, we're going to say they are not feminists, they are simply extreme, radical feminists, modern feminists. Are there no modern feminists that are happily married with children? Are there no men that, even though I don't believe that, are there no men that are feminists? Do people have the same thing for men that are feminists? It's like, oh, when women take their ground and say, oh, we want to have rights, and oh, they are woke, that's the them thing. But your eyes are just open to realities of women that are often overlooked. It becomes a thing of, oh, this movement is extreme. What is the most that radical feminists who are called?
Oh, I have.
Radical feminists, just wait. Radical feminists are called misandrists. What is the most they've done in comparison to misogyny?
Yeah.
Just tell me like the craziest thing a misandrist has done.
Okay. So there was this story, I think Me Too, a Me Too movement that happened some years back. And it's still even currently still even happening in certain places where women would come out and say, oh, this happened to me. And then there's this drive and this influence of the women that causes the men, both the ones that are innocent too and the ones that are actually responsible, to all face it together. Why? Because it's a thing of women against men. I don't think it should be that way. It should be who caused the problem, why did it happen, and actually solving that issue. Because the problem,
Problems are actually caused by men. So like, I mean,
oh no, it's not
Why are you
all. We can't even say,
generalizing it though?
yes, even if you want to say
all
it's
men.
not all men.
Oh my God.
Wait, calm down. Have you never seen stories where it's actually women that are causing the problem? Would you now say
there are
you should
stories
not
like that,
you should
but
not
causes more.
you cannot know. That's not the question. That's not
You are
that should
singling
not
out
be
a
the issue.
situation and
The issue when you're trying to
generalizing
solve a problem should not be who's causing what who's causing more problem, and then attack
who
it to the
is
person.
causing
It's
it.
who's causing the problem.
Exactly.
How can we
But
actually
9 out of
solve
10
it?
cases, who is causing
Okay, so if you now remove all the men and say, okay, wipe all the men, what about the women? Let me tell you something very interesting.
Is still that
Why
Even-
is it,
even
why
if
is
you
it that
want to
with
say-
feminism, it has to be men
Men
against
only.
women? Why can't
Why
it
can't it be women
No,
against
that's
women?
that's the actual
Have you never
truth.
seen a
That's
woman?
what the
Have you never
society
seen a
does.
woman riding
That's not
another
what the
woman's
society-
right? It still happens. The problem is not men are the issue alone. Yes, men have their fair share of it,
And women,
but women also have their
so
fair
we don't
share
have to
of
play
it.
victim. We don't have to
The
play
problem is the society. The problem is the institution. The problem is that there is
men
nothing that is
women.
actually solving these things. But what have they done?
modern feminism.
That's not how it's looking like. That is not how it's looking like. It's looking more like, oh, let's fight against the men. Let's make sure that they are all them to one side. Let's push our own agenda and let's push for just equality.
This is a patriarchal society.
So
So who is
definitely.
it run by?
So what if you are doing? That's what exactly what you're doing. You're pitting men against women. That's what modern feminism keeps doing. Yes.
When I say that
Yes.
feminism is fighting against the society and culture that who is the patriarchal society run by? Men. So at the end of the day, one way or another, you end up fighting a man in a sense, but it's not like you're fighting a man. You're fighting the person that runs the society. When you're suing an institution,
I think
this is the institution for who runs. So because
Alright, so guys, that break was so hot. So there's going to be a part 2 of this, and please comment what you want to see in the part 2. Thank you for joining us on the table today. Bye.
bye.